The story starts with a noble family traveling in a horse cart in the woods. As they get stranded, the situation turns scary when they are attacked by a monster. It kills the family members one by one. Sugo is the only survivor who tried to escape. Here we met the main character of the film, Vesemir, who is a witcher. He saves the boy from the monster attack. The monster lurking in this forest is called the Leshen, a jungle monster that lives to kill and will never stop until it succeeds. As Vesemir is faced with the monster, the two of them exchange looks as they prepare to fight against each other. In this fight, Vesemir showed that he was truly a monster hunter. The monster launches many attacks on him, and after a while, Vesemir leaps onto a tree and drinks a potion which gives him extra power and magic. He managed to corner the monster and eventually killing it. Before dying, the Leshen spoke the ancient elf language, and Vesemir noticed something is strange about it. He suspects that the Leshen is being controlled by something. Then, the scene moves to a woman named Tetra Gilchrist, a witcher who is trying to persuade the king of Dagrid to kill all witchers in Kaer Morhen. She told the king that the witchers are the one behind every monster attack and that they are doing this because there are not as many monsters around as there used to be. However, her arguments are denied by another woman called Lady Zertz, the king's advisor. She demands proof and evidence from Tetra, and since there is no evidence, the king decided to leave the witchers alone until Tetra can provide him with proof. After that, we see that Vesemir was visited by an elf named Philavendrel. Vesemir then told Phil about what the monster said earlier before it died and asked if Phil could translate it. After Phil translated it, he asks Vesemir if he noticed anything strange, and Vesemir said that he sensed some sort of magic controlling the monster. Phil then said that about 4 years ago, many elf girls often disappeared, including one named Kitsu, a magician who also understands the language. Phil also suspects that the disappearance of these girls and the control of the monster may be somehow connected. But when Phil asks Vesemir to help find these missing elf girls, he refuses because he doesn't get paid for it. The film then flashes back to Vesemir's childhood, who grew up as a servant like his father who works for a noble family. At the time, the wife of the noble family was sick and seemed possessed by some kind of demon. Vesemir was asked by his father to buy some herbs at the market. A girl named Ileana, who also works for the noble family, is a good friend of Vesemir. They both head off to the market together. On the way there, Vesemir told Ileana that he doesn't like his life being a slave. He tells Ileana that he dreams of becoming a rich and successful man. After some talking, Vesemir came up with an idea to spend the money that his father gave him on a honey cake. Ileana then asked how would they buy the herbs for the noble's wife. He told Ileana they could steal them. They managed to steal the herbs and buy the honey cake. However, their action was caught by a witcher named Deglan. Deglan came to this town because he heard that a woman has unexpectedly fallen ill and wanted to help her. Deglan confronted Vesemir and Ileana to bring him to the sick lady, and if not, he would take them back to the man they had just stole from. They send him there, and after he arrives, he immediately reveals that this woman is possessed by a Mar-type demon. He then prepares a trap for the demon and asks everyone to leave the room, except Vesemir, who insists to see the process. Deglan told Vesemir that he must help catching the monster if he wanted to stay. Deglan then began the process, and Vesemir watches in horror as the demon comes out from the lady's body. The demon has the form of a spider and could change its form. It changed into Ileana, and that makes Vesemir become hesitant in harming her. It almost escaped out from the window until Deglan throws a knife at it, killing it. Next, we see that Vesemir became interested when he saw how much money the Witcher made in one night, and asked Deglan to take him and train him to become a Witcher too. However, when Deglan asks Vesemir, "What about the girl?" Vesemir turned a little hesitant. And that's when Deglan says, "A Witcher never hesitate," and start riding off on his horse. After that, we see that while being with Ileana, Vesemir told her that he wanted to be more than just a slave. Ileana told him to be grateful because they are living a comfortable life here. Vesemir insists if Ileana knew how much money a Witcher make, she would definitely change her mind. But still, Ileana disagrees and walks off. Next, we see that while everyone is sleeping, Vesemir left something under Ileana's bed, and then he sets out on his journey going up a mountain to become a Witcher at Kaer Morhen. Vesemir arrives at Kaer Morhen and ready to be trained to become a Witcher. His friends, Luca and Sven, were also there for the training. He then saw another child, named Tomas, sadly crying in the room. He then knew not all children volunteer to become Witchers here, but rather, they were forced to do it. Vesemir walks close to the crying Tomas, who is afraid of the process known as the trial of the grasses. It is a process of poisoning the children to death and then bringing them back to life. Vesemir told Tomas that he is also frightened by it, but since it would bring him back as a much stronger person, he is okay with it. Next, we see that Vesemir, together with the other childs, had woken up in a red swamp, each wearing a necklace that would vibrate when it detects monsters nearby. A few monsters suddenly appear from the lake and starting to attack them. Many of the children, including Tomas, were killed during this test called the Trial of the Forest. Vesemir managed to escape when he fell off the cliff. He then wakes up again on a bed at the school, but he is injured. He saw at the hall so many necklaces hanging there. He knew many of his friends were not safe. One of the necklaces lead him down to a basement and into a facility where he first meet Riedrich, one of the wizards who create witchers. As Riedrich explains the science behind witchers and other monsters to him, Degland appears, telling Riedrich has spilled their secret. Vesemir was very upset because, all along, Degland knew exactly how many children could get killed in the trial. Degland told him that it is part of the consequences. Degland told Vesemir that he has received a letter from Ileana. As we hear Ileana's voice through the letter, she wrote saying that the noble family Vesemir used to live with had been destroyed, and that Vesemir's father had also lost his life. Ileana managed to run away, and she was taken in by another noble family. In the letter, she then goes to say that she hopes Vesemir could live happily and ask Vesemir to forget her. The scene moves us back to the trial of the grasses, a process that involves feeding the children with a potion that causes extreme pain. Only a few children could survive this process, and those who did, they will be brought back to life as much stronger witchers. We then see that Vesemir has grown up to be a skillful and powerful witcher. He gets a lot of job for killing every monster, and he made a lot of money from it, and this has turned him to become more arrogant. After that, we see Vesemir returns to Kaer Morhen and meets up with his friend, Luca. They went to a bar. They are having fun drinking while telling the girls about their great job as witchers. One of the knights who was also at the bar was annoyed by their story and start to criticize them, saying that they terrify the people and they don't need witchers because knights can deal with the monsters. Luca gets upset after hearing this and stood up and start to mock the knight. The scene ended up with the two witchers killing the knight there. Because of this, they were both sent to prison. Tetra tries to convince the king to kill them both. However, they were defended by Lady Zerbs, who insists on not having a war between humans and the witchers. Both Tetra and Lady Zerbs continue to argue until they reach a decision, which is to send Vesemir and Tetra to the forest to kill all the monsters. We then see Vesemir conversing with Lady Zerbs in the prison room, who later revealed she is Ileana. They are both overjoyed to see one another. So much time has passed and now Ileana is old and fragile, while Vesemir stays young. Ileana then told Vesemir that the king will free him and Luca if he agrees to go to the forest and kill the monsters that attack residents. There is another condition. He must go with another person. Soon, we learn that the person is Tetra. As Vesemir and Tetra are in the forest, Tetra told him a story about a priest who falls sick. The Witcher told the priest that it's a curse and can be dispelled when the sender is killed. The Witcher found and killed the spell sender, and in return, the priest rewarded the Witcher with a gem. A few days after, the priest chef was found having the same gem given to the Witcher. The truth was the chef works together with the Witcher to poison the priest and agreed to share the reward. This is one reason why Tetra hate Witchers so much. As they walk through the forest, they realize that they are in an illusion. Tetra dispels the illusion with her magic. As soon as the magic was gone, she found herself stepping on the edge of the cliff and she slips. Fortunately, she was saved by Vesemir. As they move further, it was revealed that the elf, Kitsu, who went missing all this time, was the mastermind behind all the attacks that happened in the forest. Kitsu has now transformed and has the ability to control the surrounding with illusion. It also has the company of Basilisk Monster, making sure that it's not an illusion. Both Vesemir and Tetra try to fight against Basilisk. At one point, Vesemir and Tetra felt overwhelmed by Basilisk power. However, Tetra managed to hold the monster with her ice magic. And as soon as this happens, Vesemir jumps in and burns the monster with his fire magic. There, Basilisk was defeated. Kitsu escapes by changing into a fox-like form, and as it runs away, Vesemir pulls out a knife and throws at it, injuring it, but he managed to escape. After that, we see them entering a demolished elf school where they found Filavandrel, who is being tied up to a wall. They free him, and he tells them that Kitsu is a mutated elf who has been abducting missing elf girls and attempting to mutate them as well. It was revealed that Kitsu was mutated using the Mar gene, the same way the Witcher was created, and that the only people who understand how to do that are the Witcher and Kaer Morhen. It was the Witcher who kidnapped and turned Kitsu into a monster in order to get a lot of coins. But Vesemir swore he did not know this. In the middle of their arguments, a mutated elf girl appeared from far behind. Tetra tried to kill her but was protected by Phil. Phil promised to raise the child as an elf, and if she turned into a monster, Vesemir himself would kill the child. After that, Vesemir returns to Kaer Morhen to look for Deglan and ask for his explanation for all this. Meanwhile, Tetra goes to destroy the mutant elf's hideout. She then goes to find Kitsu and attempts to convince Kitsu to side with her by blaming Vesemir for everything. We can also see that she was successful in influencing the king's viewpoint by convincing him that the Witchers are to blame for the appearance of all the monsters, which results in Luca being sent to his death. After that, we see Vesemir entering the Witcher-making facility and learn that Deglan is the one who has been trying to modify the elves and create more monsters. Vesemir asked Deglan to stop all this, but Deglan refuses, and so the two got into a fight. The fight was shortly after stopped by Riedrich and Ilyana. Outside the building, they learned that the king had dispatched an army to attack the Witchers in Kaer Morhen. We can also see that Tetra had been successful in getting the support of Kitsu, who is in charge of the monsters attacking the Witchers. The main target here is Riedrich, because he is the only one who knows how to create Witchers and the monsters. Vesemir went outside trying to negotiate with Tetra, however it was not successful. While Lady Zerb secures the kids in the basement, Vesemir takes control of the Witchers and prepares them as hundreds of monsters controlled by Kitsu pass through the portals that Tetra opened. They managed to kill a whole lot of them with one attack, but even that wasn't able to kill them all. Even with their special abilities, the Witchers are too outnumbered and almost all of them got killed. Deglan told Vesemir to go and take care of Tetra, while he will guard the front. Vesemir then takes a potion and leaves to find Tetra. One of the kids knows the way out. Lady Zerbs quickly told them to run away from there. Inside, we see that Tetra and some of her men have captured Riedrich and the other witches. As Ilyana comes in and talking to Tetra, Vesemir enters via the roof and threatens Tetra, saying he can kill her and all of her soldiers easily. However, before he can do anything, Kitsu confronted him and trapped him in an illusion. First, he saw Ilyana covered in pile of money just as Vesemir wanted all this time. Then moving to another illusion, where Vesemir and the other Witchers tell how Vesemir tricked a priest and shared the rewards with a chef. Then next, the illusion took Vesemir to a time where Vesemir and Ilyana got married. Before the next illusion could happen, Vesemir manages to break free and kills Tetra's men. Then he went on to fight Tetra. The battle was fierce as Tetra constantly shooting her arrows and Vesemir keeps trying to attack her. Tetra uses her magic to cast out portals so that Vesemir keeps missing his angle of attacks on her. However, at one point, Vesemir managed to read the trick and finally succeeds in killing Tetra. And after that, he runs towards Kitsu and stabs it with his sword. As soon as he finished, he realizes that the people he had just killed were Riedrich and Ilyana, and it was just another illusion this whole time. During his disbelief of what just happened, Tetra attacks him from behind, and as she moves in to shoot another one, Deglan enters and throws an axe at her, killing Tetra. After that, Vesemir asks Deglan about the others, and Deglan tells him that they are all dead. Ilyana, who is still alive, claims that the children escaped. Dying, Deglan tells Vesemir to save the remaining children and train them into Witchers and make them better men. Kitsu was still alive, but there was no point in fighting her now. So, Vesemir took Ilyana out from the burning castle. After that, we see Vesemir bringing Ilyana to a frozen lake. He uses his magic to melt the ice, then sits next to Ilyana as they gaze at the lake. Ilyana is moved by how beautiful the lake looks, the lake she had dreamed living with Vesemir since childhood, before she finally took her last breath. After that, we see Vesemir finding the children and giving them the medallions, telling them that this is the final time he will let any of them to hesitate and ask them to make decision. One of the children claims that the people hate them. Vesemir refers to the kid named Gerald and told them there will always be another monster. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like for another video like this, because it is valuable to us. Thanks for watching.